This is the breakout game that I built for the iOS using Xcode. It has response to touch, and it also has life management, score management, as well as different types of bricks that will actually change their appearance when they're hit. As you can see, the paddle itself moves and stops at either the point with which my hand is or as soon as I let go of the thing. The ball bounces in different ways based on the position that it hits the paddle, so if you hit the side, it's going to get more angle to it. The power-ups themselves fall down from the bricks when they're destroyed randomly, and then they have certain different effects such as making the paddle bigger, speeding the ball up, or giving you an extra life. Whenever the ball drops below the paddle level, like it's about to, you restart. None of the bricks are reset, but you end up repositioning and restarting from the original ball location. And then if we were to lose if we were to lose all our lives, then the game would stop playing and actually display what your final score was, as well as if we actually manage to destroy all the bricks, it'll tell us what our final score is then as well. Alright, so let's take a look at the code for that. So in the code from that, we have a couple different classes. We have our base class, which is moving component. It has a couple different things that all the objects share in common, such as the speed in the X direction, the speed in the Y direction, their overall speed. Touch point is just a CG point representing where your finger is touching. Is moving horizontally on touch is a Boolean that just tells us whether or not we're actually going to move when we touch the screen, or if this is a non-responding object. Update location is what actually moves our objects into different positions. We have a basic collision detection for overlapping objects, and then the general bouncing from one object off another, bouncing off the walls. And then in brick and ball classes, we have more specific versions of bouncing. We also have when a brick is hit, it gives you a certain amount of points depending on what type of brick it is, and then recolors itself. Let's see here. In ball class, we have when it bounces off the bricks, it has to determine the angle so that it knows whether it was a vertical or bottom bounce. And I did that by looking at the triangles caused by the diagonals on the rectangle, and then just decided based on the angle of impact whether you were in the top bottom or left right, and then bouncing off top bottom and bouncing off left right are the same, so we didn't have to look at which side of it we were actually on. And power up class has the power up class was interesting because I chose to create the power ups randomly at the beginning of the level so that it was known what power ups would be there by the game. But to do that, I actually had to store the frame that they would be occupying ahead of time. So that's what this is here. So that way when the brick that they are kind of inhabiting is destroyed and they're released, they actually know what size they're going to be. And then we have the paddle class, which actually contains its own unique version of moving based on whether or not you're touching the screen. And then over here we can see I actually let the game keep running so that it would lose. We can see the little display message that says the game is over, here's our score, and then from there, if I click OK, now that the game is over, the actual game is paused, so it actually doesn't respond to any touching, and you'll actually have to close it and restart it to get a new game going. Alright, well this was my breakout project for iOS.